Today we're gonna do a super in-depth review of the Evergoods CPL 16. I've been wearing this bag non-stop for the past week as my EDC, so I'm gonna take my experience of using this bag plus reviewing 500 of the world's best bags, and I'm gonna tell you the honest pros and cons. I'm gonna show you what the bag can pack out, and you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sold on the CPL 16 being the bag for you, I'll make some alternative recommendations for bags that are similar but have a couple of key differences so you can find the best bag that suits your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the Evergoods CPL 16. Evergoods is a company from Bozeman, Montana in the US, and they're known for their signature crossover style. And that crossover style has like a rugged, outdoorsy aesthetic, but mixed with like a modern sort of professional look. And this style, plus their construction techniques and just their bags in general, have just allowed them to kind of have like a cult-like following over the years. I know it's kind of weird that like a bag company has a cult-like following, but these guys have what is pretty closely related to a cult-like following, and honestly, for good reason. Now, this is the smaller 16-liter version of their original 24-liter Civic panel loader, aka the CPL, which we re-reviewed. Wow, that's really hard to say. I'm recovering from Bell's palsy on the right side of my face, so that's a tongue twister, which we re-reviewed recently. Stop laughing, Margaret. It's funny. We'll link that above. But if you are looking for a more compact size, let's look at the features of the 16-liter version. We've got the CPL signature quick access panel right here, which has some impressive capacity to it. Clamshell style opening to the main compartment. Evergoods signature and albeit controversial handle game. It's not my favorite thing that Evergoods does. I'll explain why in 2 chapters from now. A top loader yoke pocket right here. Evergoods signature harness system, which again, a bit on the controversial side. I'll explain why in a minute. But most notably of all is sort of this horizontal orientation as to where both the laptop compartment and that quick access compartment and even the main compartment are all accessible via this direction, which I'm not gonna lie, for everyday carry is awesome. The CPL 16 currently comes in one color option, black, but it should be noted that Evergoods constantly has like seasonal colors and limited edition drops. So be sure to check their website to see what's available as of now. Now, 16 liters I think is a really interesting choice for a size because they started with the 24 liters, and that's kind of considered like a great end bag game size. Small enough for EDC, big enough for some light travel. It kind of does both pretty well. So when they announced they were gonna make a second version, I thought they were gonna do like 20 liters, maybe 18 at the smallest, but 16, that's quite small. Typically you see EDCs clock in around 20 liters. For my EDC, I usually use around a 22 liter. Margaret, what's your EDC? 28 liter for Margaret's EDC. Now she does carry a lot more stuff, camera gear, etc. But having used this for my EDC for the past week, I can say that 16 liters it's awesome if you can get away with it. And we'll show you exactly how much gear it can pack out in just a minute. But overall, it is important to acknowledge that the 16 liter size might be a little bit small for the average city dweller. But if you do carry less stuff, the bag feels so light, as it's quite tiny, coming in at 16 inches height, a back panel of about 10.5 inches width. We'll check the base depth in just a second, because we are now measuring the capacity of the bags, mofos. That is right. This is us going the extra step for y'all. Give us a shout out in the comments if you appreciate our efforts. So we're gonna go ahead and test out the main compartment first. Should be noted too, we're not using packing peanuts. We use what the factories actually in Vietnam and China use. High-tech plastic balls. They do get a little bouncy. So you can see right here, slowly filling up. Now what you gotta do is kind of give a little massage. You really wanna see how much this main compartment can fit, because it's where the bulk of the capacity is going, right? So you can see we actually cleared up a bit more space. Now we got a couple more compartments we're gonna check out. Top yoke pocket here, but we'll get like a liter out of that. Now this that you're watching right now is something that Evergoods does so well, is to where they have so much capacity in all these pockets. Got it. This is a lot harder than it looks, people. And the whole thing about measuring capacity is we're never gonna get it perfect. We're just trying to get a loose idea of what the bag can fit, especially with that main compartment. What's cool is this side pocket right here. You can actually see there's some capacity in there, even though we totally filled up this main compartment. Throw some balls in there as well. Hey! Okay. All right, that should kind of do it. It's not gonna be a perfect representation of the volume, but we're gonna be close. Quick depth check, fully packed out. We're at about 7 inches. Cover your ears, Margaret. It's gonna get loud. Yeah, we're about 16 liters on the dot. You can see you got 5, 10, 15. So for the main compartment, you got about 14 liters that you're dealing with. And then we were able to also pack out an extra liter or 2 within the top yoke pocket, and the side pocket. Yes, it's true, we didn't even pack out the laptop compartment, so you could probably get another liter or so out of there. But keep in mind that all these compartments are fighting for capacity with each other. So I still think that 16 liters, where we're at right now, is the capacity. Final answer. Evergoods claims this bag almost weighs 3 pounds. Let's verify that. 2.9 pounds on scale number 1 and 3 pounds on the dot on scale number 2, which I am not gonna lie, very, very heavy for a 16-liter backpack. Typically, I like to see my bags around a 10 liters to 1 pound ratio, and this is double that. Granted, I do find Evergoods bags to be comfortable, so it doesn't feel like super, super, super heavy, but it definitely is noticeable for a bag this size. This is the CPL 16 when it's empty, and this is the bag when it's fully packed out and worn on the Nomad Nation team. For reference, I'm 5'8", and our media manager, Margaret, is 5'2". And don't worry, we're gonna pack out the bag throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. All Evergoods bags are backed by a lifetime warranty, and they're one of the few brands that are known to honor their warranty. And they should, because this bag is not cheap, coming in at $229 US. Damn. But if you're the kind of person who's like the buy it for life type, Evergoods is definitely a brand that's going to resonate with you. And if that's the case and you're gonna make a purchase, you just wanna find out more information, we do recommend doing so with the first link in the description. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps to support the Nomad Nation YouTube channel and team so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about the front of the Evergoods CPL 16 liter. Starting with the aesthetic, I kind of talked about that crossover vibe. It's a little outdoorsy, it's a little businessy, and I think, I'm gonna be honest, I am obsessed with this backpack. I'm not an Evergoods fanboy. The CTB, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, it's awesome. And the cap too, I really love, but like this is a masterpiece to me. And for me, it starts with the aesthetic. It's the shape, it's the silhouette, it's this cut in this fabric right here to give it a little off balance. It's got a little attitude to it. It's stealthy, it's subtle. There's no dorky water bottle pockets making it look lame. I know some of you out there are gonna greatly disagree with that. We'll talk about water bottle pockets in the next section. But yeah, the aesthetic for me absolutely knocks it out of the park. Margaret, what do you think about the way this bag looks? Are you as jazzed up about it or no? Yeah, and one huge contributing factor of that aesthetic is the custom 840D ballistic nylon that Evergoods uses. Now here's the deal, I'm usually pretty bored by ballistic nylon these days, just because you review so many bags and it's easily the most popular fabric that bags use. But there's a reason for that. It's so durable, so abrasion resistant, it's got that little professional vibe while not being too shiny or attention seeking. And Evergoods does add a DWR coating, which will provide some extra weather and water resistance, but it should be noted that is a spray and that spray will fade over time. Evergoods loves their patches. I, on the other hand, do not like patches, except for my subscribe patch. You know what to do. I do like my Nomad Nation patch as well. Come on, that thing slaps, dude. Now let's talk about one of the stars of the show, which is this quick access pocket right here, which I am quite the fanboy of. Reason being, as a city dweller living in Hong Kong and as a genuinely lazy person, I need access to my things as I'm on the move, and I want to grab them as quickly as possible. And that's exactly what a pocket like this allows you to do. And Evergoods orchestrated it in a way where it's left shoulder swing, right shoulder grab, which I'm also a big fan of. Sorry, left shoulder swing, right hand grab. Thank you, Margaret. Now, there are some people in the carry community that think it should be the opposite, that it should be, if you're right-handed, it should stay on your right shoulder, and you swing it over this way, and then you grab with your left hand. I'm cool with this, but I wanna hear your thoughts. Should it be this way? Should it be the other way? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Inside this pocket, we have a mesh zippered pocket, and then 1, 2 lining pockets as well. Okay, let's pack it out so you can get an idea of what it fits. Here I got some typical get done in the city EDC stuff. Inside the mesh pocket, I'm gonna throw my wallet. I would never actually carry my wallet in this pocket, but some people do, just to illustrate what it can be used for. Phone slides very nicely into the lining pocket. Again, not something that I would actually put there, but you know, it's very common to put things that you want quicker access to. Wallet, phone, but I get it if so. I used to do it. Pen in the lining pocket. Now, one thing I wish is that Evergoods would have had the key leash in this pocket, but it's nowhere to be seen. It's actually at the top yoke pocket, which I'm not a fan of at all, because I don't want to take my bag off, because as previously mentioned, I'm lazy. I don't take my bag off every time I want my keys, right? I just want to slide it around and grab the keys. So for those reasons, I keep my keys in here, just toss them in. Now, as mentioned, Evergoods are wizard people at creating capacity. So while this is, you know, a small pocket, it's only probably like 1 liter to 2 liters of space in there, you can get bulkier items in there as well. So I got my Sony XMH5s, and you can see they close up, and I can even throw a hard shell glasses case in there as well. Overall, this pocket is one of my favorite features of the CPL 16. It's really hard to beat, and it's so well executed. But let's get into some meat and potatoes. Let's talk about the middle of the Evergoods CPL 16. Now, one thing to note on the bottom is it's sort of got a bit of a rounded shape, which means that this bag's not gonna be the best self-stander. We'll double check that as the bag is fully packed out. Also, we have some nylon pull tabs right here, just to give you a little extra leverage when you're opening and closing the zippers. One thing I love that Evergoods does is their zippers are not PU coated, which means they're never gonna peel. They won't look as sleek, that's for sure, but the lack of peelage for me is a no-brainer. And I love their zipper pulls as well. Very simple, just a little knot, easy to grab. I don't know if I need these chunky YKK 10s for my main compartment. It's like unnecessarily like manly, but it does kind of feel good too. So I get it, I just think it's a little extra. In the main compartment, we have a sleeve in the back, a mesh pocket here, and a zipper pocket at the top. I got a bunch of EDC stuff right here. Let's go ahead and pack it out. I'm gonna throw my Lockbee notebook cover in this back sleeve. I love this fabric. Little elasticity to it. I'm also a big fan of the internal color. It's a light gray. They call it their standard gray, which I think is terrible marketing. Come on, it's better than standard. It's the Bozeman gray. Let's spice it up a little bit, Evergoods, come on. But while I do love this fabric, not as crazy about Evergoods mesh. This is a personal preference. I find their mesh to be very harsh, which it is. There's a reason for that, as to where it's gonna last the test of time. Now that means, unlike Power Mesh or Darlington Mesh, that it's not gonna have the expansion properties and it's not gonna be as silky and as satisfying to the touch. But again, Evergoods is always so good about creating extra capacity as to where you don't really need that, and the peace of mind of knowing that this mesh is gonna last the test of time also rocks. You can see I put a tech pouch in there from Evergoods as well as my hard drive. And here I'm gonna throw some sunglasses. One thing I gotta say that irks me about Evergoods, designed and developed in Bozeman, Montana. These bags are actually made in Vietnam though, and the developed part in Montana makes you think it's made in Montana. It's just a little shisty, not my favorite thing. You can see on this tag right here that it is in fact made in Vietnam, but they said sewn in Vietnam. It just always rubs me the wrong way. You can see we're gonna put the JSD Bombas tech pouch right there, umbrella, my AirPods, pop them in here. Good old sweater from Uniqlo, then close it up. And that is a compact but efficient pack out for everyday carry, in my opinion. Like I said, I used it for the past week. I never needed more space, but sometimes you might need more space. Now, let's talk handles. Another thing that I'm not crazy about with Evergoods, and the reason is because they use a plastic sheet in their handles. And there's actually a metal bar underneath the side handle, which helps give the bag some structure. So when you carry it, the bag doesn't sort of collapse into itself. I'm cool with all the design stuff and the metal bar, which you can actually remove if you want. I just don't love the plastic sheet in there. It kind of makes the side handles a little uncomfortable, and they're a little tight, kind of difficult to get in there. And I'm a smaller dude, 5'8", my hands aren't the biggest. Something that I was crazy about with Evergoods bags. Now, one thing you might notice too is there's a big old handle on this side, but no handle on the other side. And you're like, oh my God, that would just be the perfect little bit of real estate for a nice water bottle holder. But Evergoods said no, not up in here. And this could be the most controversial part of the CPL 16 and 24 is the fact that you got this beautiful, clean side panel that's just begging for a water bottle holder. Maybe not in the 16-liter version. I mean, we got a lot less real estate that we're working with here on this panel. It's only 3.5 inches. So I would say it's less egregious on the 16-liter. The 24-liter, you could definitely fit one on there. Let me know your thoughts. Is the lack of a water bottle holder a deal breaker on the CPL 16? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But for all you external lash point lovers out there, you got two right here. You can clip things on externally to the bag. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's talk tech protection. Now, I'm usually not a huge fan of side tech protection. I kind of go back and forth. I used to love it, then I didn't love it. Now, I don't know, kind of in the middle. This is a great laptop compartment. That's where you have the Velcro securing mechanism. Let's see if it'll fit a 16-inch MacBook Pro cutout, and it absolutely will. I had my 13-inch in here for a week. It felt very safe, and you can see with the 16-inch, it's definitely on the tight side, but it closes. You're obviously gonna have a lot of padding on the back panel, also protected in the front by whatever's packed in the front. And then you got sort of a false bottom going on. I wouldn't say, with these side ones, there isn't always the best false bottom. So you can see they have the actual laptop divider right here, and it's gonna come in at a bit of an angle right there. So that means when the laptop is in the bag, this divider is actually helping elevate it ever so slightly. It's not gonna be the best laptop sleeve my eyes have ever seen, but it definitely gets the job done. And then for the self-standing, as you can see, it's not gonna be a great self-standing bag, probably an enormous thing that kind of misses on this bag. But Margaret, you think self-standing bags are overrated, right? Why, Margaret?
You can always lay that.
There's always a wall somewhere. And she's not wrong. And I gotta say, if you're still here watching this video, there's a good chance you might be a bit of a gearhead. If that's the case, I'd like to welcome you. You're amongst friends, I promise. And we actually got a pretty big community here at Nomad's Nation of gearheads like us. And in this community, we don't just do YouTube reviews with bags, but we also kind of keep our finger on the pulse of all things that are happening in the world of EDC and travel gear in the Nomad's Nation newsletter. In that newsletter, I'm like your reporter in the field, telling you about the newest drops, the most innovative new products, and you get exclusive access to all of our giveaways and discount codes. So if you want to stay on top of what's happening in this incredible industry of EDC and travel gear, be sure to look for this globe emoji in the description below. And there you can sign up to the Nomad's Nation newsletter, and I hope to see you in your inbox. All right, let's talk about the back of the Evergoods CPL 16. Starting with this top yoke pocket, it's brilliant. And the reason is because of the space that they included in it, right? Like a lot of these top pockets are gonna be a little thinner, you know, you just can barely get in there, especially when the bag's packed out, but you can see how they attached it to the harness system with the shoulder straps at the top as to where it's got some space to it, dude. Unfortunately though, they put the key leash there, dumb. But if you wanna put your sunglasses there in a case, you can go ahead and do so, and voila. But also like, I got my Peak Design packable tote. You can see it's a little bit bulkier. You can slide that right in there. And this is one of those pockets that's great whether you're sitting next to your desk, working on your computer, or this bag is underneath the seat in front of you as your personal item. You can quickly grab whatever's in that pocket. Very, very well designed. Now, I'm not gonna lie, in the community, most people are pretty jazzed up about this yoke pocket, but something that people are less consistently jazzed up about is Evergoods harness system. And here's why. This little bottom part right here, and this sort of semi-curvaceous design equals to many digging in the lower back. And I will admit, it does dig a touch. And it does dig the smaller, in my experience, the Evergoods bag gets. I reviewed every Evergoods bag from the 35 liter CTB, now to I think this is actually been the smallest. And the smaller the bag, the more that I just notice it kind of like coming into this area. And even if you're wearing it high and tight, which you're supposed to, I still kind of feel it. And I'm a high and tight bag wearer. I never go like this, ever. Ever. Even if there's a fire. Now I will say the shoulder straps, I always like them. I think they have a great amount of rebound to them. This contour design fits the torso very well. You got a couple of holes right here, which is great for a hydration bladder, which you can stick in the laptop compartment, which you can then weave on through and keep yourself hydrated when you're on the go. You also have a sternum strap, which helps make the bag more comfortable. I am a huge fan of sternum straps. Even on a 16 liter, I'm popping the sternum strap in all the time. One thing about the sternum strap is it is a to get on and off. So I recommend finding your sweet spot and then keeping it there forever because you'll never want to change it. The back panel is comfortable in terms of its padding. You can see it's got a nice rebound to it as well. These cuts do help to provide some ventilation. Not my favorite amount of ventilation though. Not like in comparison to like an airbag or even some Bellroy bags that definitely have like 3D molds and like you can really feel a bit of airflow in there. You can really feel the airflow with an Evergoods bag, but it does inspire airflow, I will say ever so slightly. But for me, the most annoying thing about Evergoods bags is represented by this little guy, our dangle protester, who I still have not named it for 5 years. But he's doing the good deed for all of us guys because at a $220 16 liter bag, I don't want this going on. You know, this is fine because you got to snap it into place, but just give me some web management, please, Evergoods. I know you can buy this on Amazon for like $5. I don't want to. At $220, it should be included with the bag. So this, not my favorite, but overall, Evergoods bags, in my opinion, minus a bit of back digging, pretty comfortable experience. And I know that comfort is subjective and everybody has different body types and needs and preferences. So if you have any questions about the comfort of this bag, or really any questions about any bag, a good spot to ask is not only in the comments below, but also in the Nomad's Nation subreddit. We got a whole community of bag nerds there. It's very active. So if you got any questions, it's a great spot to ask. Let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Evergoods CPL 16. Pro number one, for me, is the aesthetic. I just think it looks great, especially with that Nomad's Nation patch. Pro number two is going to be the quick access of this front pocket. And pro number three is just like, Evergoods makes bags that just hit different. They're just in terms of quality, construction, everything in between. It's really hard to beat an Evergoods bag. But on the flip side, I got some cons. Evergoods is not perfect. First of which is gonna be the lack of a water bottle holder. The second of which for me are the plasticky handles, not my fave. And the third con is that while I find the bags comfortable, a lot of people report a back digging experience. Just Google it, Evergoods digging into back. It varies from person to person, but if you're like, dude, I don't think that bag will dig into my back, and I love it, and I want one. I agree, it's a masterpiece, and I'm totally get one. And you're gonna make a purchase. Just a reminder, we do recommend doing so using the first link in the description. Reason being that link is where you get the best price, and if there's any discount codes, which we often have, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, I did tease some alternatives. Let's talk about them real fast. First of all, if you're new to the channel, I recommend watching our leaderboard video. I'm gonna link that above, and it's basically our top picks from the Nomad's Nation team for different bags in different categories, so you can get an idea of like what the best options are on the market. But let's say we're really close with the Evergoods CPL 16, but you're not quite there. Here's a couple options that are similar but different. Alternative recommendation number 1 is going to be the Evergoods CTB 20. Great pick for you if you're digging the Evergoods vibe, but you need external water bottle holders and you need a bit more space, as 16 liters is a bit small. The 20 liter CTB is gonna give you a lot more bang for your buck in terms of capacity. And alternative recommendation number 2 is going to be the Alpaka Metro Backpack Pro. I'll definitely say this bag's a bit inspired by the CPL, but it's got a little bit less of an outdoorsy look and a little bit more city, urban, businessy, and has a bit more streamlined of a look and feel. I love all 3 bags. You can't go wrong with any of them. They all have their own pros and cons. But to learn more about the alternatives, just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let me know in the comments or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.